Clinton Jaws. I just got back from Whistler. Stayed at the Fairmont in Whistler, and it was nice. It was awesome. You know what's great? When you get out and when you get drunk and you let loose and you act like an a-hole. And you dance like a fool. And that's what I did. That's what I did. The women ended up leaving us, okay? They left me and my friend, and we went around Whistler one night. We went from bar to bar to bar, and it was getting a little late. And I know I shouldn't tell this story. Okay, we're heavily intoxicated. And it's late, where we can't get a ride back to the Fairmont. Like, the Fairmont is a little ways from the village in Whistler. It's not really far, but it's far enough that you don't want to walk it. And because we're so intoxicated, it would be a 3-time longer walk, because there's no way we could walk in a straight line. And it's around midnight, and it might even be midnight. And we just leave. We go past the sundial, and we just leave the grounds of the village. And on the road there, I seen an ambulance and a cop car. Some kind of scene. And I'm like, maybe I get a buffalo cab. Maybe I can get a cop to drive me home. Because that's all I did. I love driving people home. I did it all the time, my entire career. Had no problems with it. So we get close. Me and my friend, we get close. 2 police officers, a female and a male. And they're standing there. I think they're talking to a paramedic. And I'm getting closer and closer. I'm about 8 feet away. And both of them at the same time said, "Get back! Get back!" And my friend, who is very obnoxious when he drinks, funny, hilarious, looks at me and goes, "Well, do we have to get back? Why would we get back?" And I said, "It's no problem. Don't say anything." And then I pointed at one of the cops, to the guy, and I said, "I know you." And then he looked at me, and the girl kind of looked at me like they did know me. I'm just kidding. And he comes over. I don't know if he shook my hand or not, but I think we did. And he said my full name. He knows me. And he goes, "You used to work with my wife, Kat." I'm not going to say the last name. And I'm thinking, and well, I wasn't thinking that hard. He goes, I married her. And I went, "Oh no." I'm thinking, oh no, right? Because I think this girl hates me. Hates my guts. And I say, "Oh, I think she hates me. Do you mind giving us a ride?" And he said, yeah, I'll give you a ride. No problem. And I go into the front seat. My buddy gets in the back. No way in hell am I going in the back of a cop car. There's nothing more gross than the back of a cop car. Cops will tell you they clean them. Yeah, right. Not thoroughly. And so my buddy, he goes straight in the back. And I started laughing like he's in the back. Thank God I'm going to get the front. And I go to pull the front door. And the police officer says to me, "Hey, you can't sit in the front, get in the back. You know the rules." And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Hey, you're nice enough to give me a ride home, a ride back. And as we're driving, I'm in the back. I can't believe I'm in the back. First time ever. And apparently I didn't know the rules. So we're driving back, and my buddy, he's saying the C word, and he's being silly. And I'm like, dude, don't. He's in cop mode right now. I don't want him driving us to cells, throwing us in jail for something he said. Who knows, right? Apparently I don't know all the rules. I wasn't allowed to sit in the front. And by the way, I would like to thank that police officer for giving us a ride back to the Fairmont, because I really needed it. We really needed it. Saved us. But the entire ride, I kept on saying, "Hey, tell your woman that I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry." I get out of the Buffalo cab. go to bed. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, you know, Clint, that was really nice that you told him to tell his wife that you're sorry. And then I'm thinking, all day long in Whistler, I'm thinking, what are you sorry for? What did you do wrong? Did you do something bad to this member? You never ever threw her under the bus. You never had a difficult, bad conversation. What did I do for her to hate me? Because when I said she hates me, he's like, like he agreed with me. You know why I said sorry? I realized it after. Because I'm sorry that she hates me. I hate people hating me. I need a reason. Like, what did I do to you? So I'm thinking about this all day long. And I still don't know. I come back for paternity leave. Upshaw, he messages me a month before paternity leave and says, you got to come back to the watch. The inmates have ran the asylum. And it sounds stupid when I'm telling you this story. But I went back to not a very welcoming watch. And to this day, I don't really understand it. Now, when you take a step back, you get time to think about all this stuff. I should call Upshaw. I should get Upshaw up. I want to know. Like Upshaw, he was there the whole time. He's seen everything go down. Why can't, maybe I should call Upshaw. I'm going to ask him. He won't answer. You know what? I'm not going to start this podcast again until he calls me on Zoom or something. See ya. Guys, it's the next day. I'm back and we're going to talk to Upshaw. How's it going, dude? Now we can talk. It took...
How long has it been? The last time I talked to you, well, besides a couple of quick facts, was how many years ago? 13? It's been a long time. I don't know. Everything's great. Great, I guess. I'm alive.
Hey, it took a lot to get you on here. I started doing a podcast yesterday, and I stopped the podcast and said I need to call Upshaw. So
hey, don't use my last name.
I've been calling you by the last name the entire time for years.
Okay, yeah, but just use Randy, just in case.
Okay, Randy. So what's been going on is I was telling a story to my viewers, and I got to a part where I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I want you to hear the story, and then maybe you can help me out.
Hey.
Okay, let's try this again. You look good.
Yeah, Randy.
Randy?
Thanks, buddy.
Randy, you look good. I actually thought you were going to come out of it looking the other way. It turned out pretty good, which is weird.
Hey, you've underestimated me more than once.
You know what, man? I don't even know if you're a cop anymore. Are you still a cop?
No, I retired last August, so coming on 2 years.
Oh, wow. And how do you feel after that? How do you feel? How's the year? Do you feel better? You feel worse? You feel the same? Relieved?
Gee. I haven't downloaded it all yet, like I'm still processing it every day.
Yeah.
You know yourself, when you start, it's really like crossing the start line of a race, right? Like there's no hey, I'm gonna get off now. Once you're in it, and you're riding on it and you're holding on for dear life, and then all of a sudden this day comes where it's over, and then it's like shocking, right?
So you're at that point. Yeah.
Well, I've accepted it, but I think once you're that what's the word I'm looking for here? And we should say there's a caveat here. You got me on here speaking, but I do have speech and intellectual issues now. Yeah. So speaking can be a lot harder. But anyways.
Do you stutter a lot?
A little bit. What was your question? Your question was, how am I doing?
Yeah, how you
Right?
doing? Yeah, how you doing? Like, I know for me it took a few years to get a little bit better. Like, when I say better, I just mean like no longer a cop. And I can't explain it. And I
Well,
think the
I think
brainwashing is wrong, but it almost is a brainwash while you're a
we've
police
had this
officer.
conversation before. Me and you have had this conversation before, and we agreed that to be a good cop, you got to be a shitty person. And when you're developing your
Do you think
investigation
so?
skills,
I,
and
I don't believe that. I didn't. I've never agreed to that.
no, I don't either. But I think it does become who you are because you have to suspect everybody. That's how you operate as a cop. You're suspicious. You look at a picture, you quickly do you take the snapshot. It's like you're looking for what's wrong. You're not looking for the positivity, right? You're looking for who's committing crime, who's the bad guy, who's going to be trouble, right? You don't appreciate the great things in life. And I know people give you advice, hey, leave that at work. But unfortunately, it becomes a part of your personal life too. And that's where I think, a lot of guys have the most issues. Like probably like I know for myself is the work bleeds into your personal life, right?
So
We,
you
yeah,
what I
go ahead.
get from your story is that you're paranoid.
Oh, severely,
Yeah,
severely.
because you're talking about
I mean,
we're always
at
suspicious.
at the at the end of my work career, I would check my door 2 or 3 times a night
What are you looking for?
to make sure it's locked.
Oh, do you,
Or if there's somebody out there, like our thoughts, well, no, my thoughts always go to the worst case scenario, right?
what
Because the
about
one time, what's that?
the organ? Do you feel like the organization is breathing down your neck still, or did you ever feel that way?
I've made peace with the organization.
Okay,
Um, so
but does it rattle you when you look at your phone and it says unknown name, unknown number?
does that rattle me?
You know what I mean? It's just an example.
Have you ever worked on call?
On call? No,
Yeah.
no,
So you're at home, sitting at home.
no.
Well, anyways, I when you're working at home on call, obviously you get off work at say 3 in the morning and you're on call till 7 or 8.
Right.
You always get, once a block when you're doing the on calls, you'll get called out usually. But that first time you missed the call, I think, because you're so paranoid, okay, I'm going to miss this call, I'm going to miss a call, I'm going to miss a call. And you get the first 100, and then you miss one because whatever reason you just stay asleep.
Yeah.
It's really shocking to you, right? I think that makes you paranoid.
What part makes you paranoid about that? Like,
My phone rings in the dark. I automatically go to being on call and getting called out. Why? I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. But that's just, because, well, I worked the highway between Rogers Pass and Lake Louise, right? So in the winter, that would be just treacherous. And you're constantly getting called out for fatals. So I think once you do that a few times, anytime the phone rings, it sends a chill up your back. I still hear the radio. I'll still get a crackle of the radio and like a tone alert, and I'll just shoot right into like go mode. Like, you know what I mean? Lights and sirens.
I hate that tone alert.
Oh my God, it was the worst.
It was the worst. I hear it on the radio. Like we listen to local radio CJAV, and they got a song out there, and it starts off with a tone alert.
Do you not hate that when like there's radio commercials and they have like horns and sirens? Like whoever told a radio DJ it's a good idea to put horns and sirens in your ads while people are driving? That's
Yeah,
you know
no
what I
kidding.
mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden there's sirens blaring. I'm like, my adrenaline goes mental. I'm shaking like a leaf. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And that's all we got in Mission. That's all we had was tone alerts. 3 in the morning. It'll be a grow rep, right? And I hated it. I used to call up the dispatch. The dispatcher started doing it for domestics. You know, no, 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 no. Can I have a mission member for a domestic? And I'd be on the horn right away going, what are you doing? Why are you amping us up like that? That's ridiculous. A tone alert for a domestic?
Yeah, I know, but it's sometimes you'd have a good experienced dispatcher and sometimes you'd have somebody on their first day. And you got to understand they're people too, right? Like,
no, they're not.
They got somebody on the phone.
I'm kidding,
going
dispatchers.
Mental.
I'm kidding. Yeah, you're right. Well,
they're going mental. And look, what I've come to accept is there's no training for the type of work you're doing. There's no way to train you for the level of violence, the level of disturbance, the level of emotional fatigue, like dealing with people. I guess, it'd be like having a house full of newborns, I guess, and you're trying to make them all happy and it's just not going to happen. So you got to get used to getting yelled at all day, right?
Inside and outside.
100%. And then you come home and,
more yelling.
Like the home is your castle and now your kids are yelling at you and you're getting all triggered, right? So it's.
Yeah. You got the public yelling at you. You got your bosses yelling at you. And then you hopefully you have a good home life, but a lot of people don't. And then where do you go, right? You got a bad home life, you got a bad work life. Where do you go?
Well, you know where we go.
Yeah. That's right.
You isolate, you cut off from society and the addictions and your coping mechanisms take over, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard for us to do anything in moderation anymore. Like, what do you do in moderation? It's just, I don't know, your mind after you work on the road, it's like I need to feel pleasure and to relax right now.
Why is that?
Because I think we're just overstimulated, overworked. You're going flat out. Like we work nights where you went from call to call to call to call.
Yeah.
Literally. You've had many nights like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That's all it was.
10 or 12 of, when you're there at the file, that's the worst day in that person's life, usually, most times. And you're dealing with that emotion, right? Like, to me, I was just emotionally fatigued and I was just like, holy crap. Like, how do I get off my set of 4? And then you're usually getting called in for overtime. So when do you sleep? Once you start struggling with your sleep, I realized you're really going to have trouble because your sleep is where you repair. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And then I don't mean to change the subject last night, but I went to bed at 11 and I woke up at 12. Think about that for a second. I went to bed at 11 and I woke up an hour later. For 3 hours. For 3 hours.
Did you feel totally refreshed?
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, I got to do a podcast with these eyes?
But then you fall back to sleep for 6 hours and you wake up and you're exhausted.
Yeah.
But, sleeping becomes its own nightmare, really. I mean, you could do you teach a class on sleep and how bad that gets.
Well, we could talk forever about this, and I didn't even mean to get too heavy, but it's all good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I've never talked about that on my podcast before, and I'm probably not even making sense because I'm not used to having somebody on here in Zoom. Mm-hmm. But whatever. It's all natural, and I got a story for you.
Yeah, go ahead. The story. You've been selling me the story all day.
What's that?
You've been selling me the story all day.
Well, I didn't tell you what it was.
No.
You have no idea. It's not even much of a story now. It took me like 24 hours to get you on here. Anyways, so I'm in Whistler, okay?
Yeah.
The women are around. I'm with a friend. and they go to bed. Have you been to Whistler?
Yeah.
Do you know where the Fairmont is? It's not actually in the village. It's about a kilometer away. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter. It's late. It's late, and we have no way back to the Fairmont other than to walk. And we're gooned. We're having the best time of our lives. Just me and him, okay? We're acting
So
ridiculous.
late as in it's late as in midnight, or
Midnight.
late as in 5 a.m.
It's midnight.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
It's midnight. I mean, we're being stupid. We're in the bars.
Yeah.
It was Sunday, and we got our faces painted like just lunatics, complete like children. And we're like, damn it, we gotta walk. We gotta walk all the way back. And I know I can't. Even though it's a kilometer, the way I'm in, it's gonna take 3 kilometers because I'm gonna be all over the place. And we get out of the
So you call
no, I don't call anybody.
you call a Buffalo cab.
Buffalo cab. It's funny you say that. So we start walking out. We start walking
Okay.
out of the village. And right when we walk out of the village, I see an ambulance and a cop car and 2 cops talking to a paramedic. And I'm like, hey, Jordan, I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
What's my idea? Randy, what's my idea?
Your buddy lay down sick.
What? No,
Your buddy
we're
lay
not going
down
to.
like
No,
he's
we're not going to
dying.
act like
You
idiots.
get the ambulance ride.
What do I want to talk to the cop for?
I just,
You already said Buffalo cab.
yeah, get a ride home, or you're checking in to see what's going on.
So we start walking toward them. We get about 10 feet away, and the female cop and the male cop go, back off! Back up! Back up! Anyways, me and my friend, we had a little bit of a chuckle over that. And I pointed to the guy, and I said, I know you. I don't know him. I've never seen him before. And he comes over, and he shakes my hand and says my full name. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, hey, dude, do you think you'd give us a ride back to the Fairmont? He goes, absolutely. So Jordan, he gets in the back seat, okay? And I start laughing. He's getting in the back seat of the patrol car. Because there's nothing more gross. There's no way I'm getting back there. There's nothing more gross than the back seat of a patrol car. Would you agree or disagree?
I'd agree 100%.
Okay. Because even when they were pissing themselves and bleeding to death, we're not really cleaning it thoroughly after, right? I know you're not. You're not cleaning those things. Spending less than 60 seconds on it.
Yeah, that stuff dries up and fades away, goes away.
Okay, sure. So I go for the front door, and the cop goes, hey, in the back. You know the rules.
Hey, is he a young guy
Doesn't matter.
or an old guy?
Why?
It does matter, because young guys they know better. They know better. They've learned from all of the mistakes of the older guys who are sitting in the penalty box in the GD pit
He's younger than us.
year round, because they're in trouble for something. They know better.
Young guys know. So you're saying young guys know better, meaning what?
Look at the climate we were
No,
living in when they went
What
went through training.
What I'm trying to understand is, so what are you trying to say? Yes to the back seat or yes to the front seat? What are you saying?
No, I understand why he wanted you to go in the back seat. I understand.
And you're saying that young guys are what? I'm trying to understand what you're talking about.
Hypervigilant for protecting their career.
So you agree with the back seat?
Yeah. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done that. No, but I understand.
Okay, what do you mean? What?
I don't think everything I do in life is correct and 100%.
So what does he
More.
do with
I don't have like.
what does he do with ride-alongs? Do they ride along in the back?
It would depend, I guess, on who the person is. I mean, we
You
shouldn't
thi-
be doing ride-alongs. Period.
You think
not
ride-alongs go in
safe.
you think ride-alongs go in the back seat?
Well, man, I mean, like, you got to protect their life.
You're killing
Like-
me.
When you start at police working, same with me. That cruiser was not a target. Now it is. And
He
I
thinks,
wouldn't.
I guarantee he doesn't think Clinton Jaws is going to attack him in the cop car. So
No, but
if I give my brother a
okay,
ride,
okay, okay.
if I give my brother a ride, I make him sit in the back, right? According to your logic.
No, it's your brother, and it depends on you, and it depends on the person, and it depends on. There's 100 different things, right?
Is it a
But
rule?
I understand.
Is it a
I
rule?
understand being a whistler, and like I worked in a similar type of town, and this is happening to you 4 or 5 times a night. And honestly, it takes one time of letting a person in your car and them having a negative experience with you that you're like, okay, I can't do that again. Because you get people who are, like you said yourself, you were overserved. Now you're in a cop car. Now you're tapping away at the keyboard. Now you're screwing around with the mic. Like that's what happens. So I understand guys being like, I can't do that again, especially if you're in a town that's a resort town, because you're doing that all the time.
You ever give anybody a ride home after the bar?
Yes.
Have you ever given an attractive lady a ride home after the bar?
Only my wife.
Come on. Come on. You're allowed to say that yes. If people come up to your car,
Yeah, I only ever gave one woman a ride home, and that's my wife.
okay, is that how you met? Oh, okay. And
No, I'm bugging you.
I got to cut all that out.
No,
Waste of footage. I mean, there have been attractive people.
I heard my wife walking around in the background. That's why I said
Oh shit. Okay. I've.
that.
Do you just
Yes, you.
what?
Go ahead.
Um. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not going to try to convince you if I should go in the back. I went in the back. Okay, I'm in the back seat, and
Yeah,
my buddy started piping up. He's trying to be
yeah.
funny, like he's a funny guy, and he's saying the c word. And now I'm getting all nervous. I'm like, I don't think this police officer has a sense of humor. I mean, I could.
Yeah.
He thinks it's breaking a rule sitting in the front seat, and I don't
He's
want
just
him.
put you in the drunk tank.
I don't want him driving us to cells, right?
Yeah.
And anyways, the cop was great. He gave me a ride home. He saved us. Okay, nothing against that. As we're driving back, I said, "How did you know my name?" And he said, "Used to work with my wife. I ended up
Okay,
marrying."
hold on.
What?
Hold on. Is it Ralph? Or no, sorry. Go ahead.
Used to work with my wife. I ended up marrying her. And I said, "Oh, what's your wife's name?" Cat.
Aw, I miss Kat. She was great.
So this is where the story kind of gets difficult for me. I say, tell Kat. I said, Kat hates my guts. She hates me.
Kat doesn't hate your guts. You think everybody hates your guts.
I'm not
They
done. I'm
don't.
not done. I'm not done. And
Okay.
I said it about 3 times. Tell her I'm sorry. I know she hates me. And he goes, well, like he's agreeing. He's agreeing. And I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, that was nice that I told him to tell her that I'm sorry. And then I spent the whole day going, what the fuck are you sorry about, Clint? What the fuck did you ever do? You know what you're sorry about? You're sorry that she doesn't like you. I hate it when people don't like me. I never did a thing to this girl. I never disciplined her, never talked down to her. I was good to her the entire time. What did I ever do to that girl for her to not like me?
Are you asking
Yeah.
me or what?
Yeah.
I don't know, Clint. I mean, think about working where we worked. It was high stress at every moment. I mean, I don't hold it against anybody now if I didn't get along with them. I understand it. I don't get along with myself now some days, so I can understand people not getting along with me. It's just we're under so much stress. Who wants to be that stressed out and taking orders and getting files kicked back to you and having to go and get another statement, and you know what I mean? It's the nature of the RCMP and the supervisor position. It's a very high conflict position, right?
Let's quickly talk about the atmosphere when I went on paternity leave. Okay, I knocked up a girl. We had a baby, and you texted me 2 weeks before I have to come back, and you said you need to come back now. The inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah, we can't talk about this in the podcast.
Now the inmates, I know
This is
we
intimate
had.
stuff. I've made peace with my past. Rephrase the question. Take out the personal stuff, and I'll try
Okay.
to answer it.
So what happened? I leave the watch to have a baby, and you tell me you got to get back here. The inmates are running the asylum.
I was probably referring to myself because
Oh,
I'm
dude.
probably the only
Okay.
inmate in there.
So when I went back, Jeff tells me that I got the worst watch on in the detachment. Why would Jeff tell me that?
Because he's a great measure of a good police officer.
So you did I have the worst watch?
Well, that goes back to how do we judge each other as employees, right? Like how do we all form our like opinion on each other's ability?
Did you turn religious?
Did I turn religious?
Yeah.
Uh, no, I don't think so. Why?
I don't know. So
No,
it's hard.
I'm trying to rationally answer this and give you like a value answer. You know
No,
what I mean? Like Clint, I can sit here all day and bitch about everybody, and I got a lot of reason to. But you know what? What's the point?
was
There's
the
no point now.
it's fun to talk about now. Okay, it's interesting. There is a point. The watch was wacky.
Okay, but we were all in hell probably in our own personal lives and our work careers. It was
So
very
like
difficult times.
that's right. They all have their problems. They have all have their issues. But what do you think the problem was? What was the problem when I came back from paternity leave? Why was it just so insane? And the only thing that fixed it was three
Because
people. Three people
you
had to
had
leave the
senior
watch.
you had senior constables that were approaching a period where I think they probably felt that they could have been running the watch.
Well, of course, every senior constable is jealous of the watch commander. They don't want them there. But do you think that's what it was?
You just answered your own question. Yeah.
You don't think there was more? Uh,
I, I I only know what I know. I don't. You might know. You were the one privy to all the dirt. I wouldn't know.
Dude, you're on the watch. You know everything.
I don't, no, I don't know the upper management piece, which you are privy to as a supervisor.
Bullshit. Not when you're a corporal watch commander. Not privy to anything.
Yeah, you get pulled in and they tell you, hey, so and so has an issue with this, or so and so has this problem, and so had this happen in their life. Can you manage it? That happens all the time.
See, I spent the day reflecting in Whistler. That moment that I came back and everybody was just, oh, he's back. Like, what did I ever do to you?
Clint, don't beat yourself up about that stuff. A lot of it was just day to day frustrations when you're doing a job that you have no control over. You have no control over your fate. Christ, you could get killed any moment. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the work environment you're in. It's not realistic, right?
It's not like I'm going into a deep depression over it or anything like that. I just like talking about it. And we haven't really talked about it. Some things were funny. Some
Yeah,
things.
and you got to forgive me because the only times I ever talk about work now are therapeutic times with professionals, right? So I don't usually have conversations about work where I'm just venting. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't have a lot of guys that are on that level. I have a handful of guys, but we just have our little text threads. But
Do you
90% of the time when I'm speaking openly about police work,
I got
it's
4 minutes
You know what I
left.
mean?
I got 4 minutes left because I didn't upgrade, it says. So do you remember the first day on my watch?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. My first day.
On my watch.
Oh, there's layers to it all, but
Did
I'll
I do
take the
something to you?
top layer.
Did
The
I?
top layer. So I get to work, and I mean, I was coming in. It was my first day. My boots were polished. I was as green as grass, I guess.
I'm talking about on my
And
watch.
yeah, I started on your watch. Even the first time. Remember when you went on pat leave the first time?
I
I was
didn't.
on your watch.
I didn't know that. Did I do something to
Yeah,
you?
yeah. You didn't even let me in the building.
Okay, tell me the story because I have no memory of it, and you tried telling it to me about a year ago. And I said save it for the podcast. Okay, what did I do?
Well, I'm over in the hotel because obviously I just got in town, so I get up and I'm going in for 6 a.m. So uh, that's when there's the big change from early car to late car and the supervisor swap out. So I guess you were in because you were on duty supervisor. And you might not even have read your emails. I don't know, to be honest. And you're about to go on leave, so you might have been checked out. But anyways, I show up for my first day and I knock on the door. No answer. So I'm like, okay, I guess everybody's busy. So then I pick up the phone and I call into dispatch, and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll get Clint to come. And you walked out, and I'm like, oh, hey, introduce myself. I'm here for my first shift. And you were like, I have no idea who you are. Are you sure it's this detachment?
Are you sure?
So then I was all like, that was funny. That was good though. I
Was
was
I
happy you
was
did
I
that.
joking with you or what?
I don't know. Clint, you were always like the Michael Scott of work.
What does that mean?
You're brilliant. You're a brilliant person, but you do stuff that's goofy at times, and you never let on that you're kidding. You're very dry. So,
Mm.
I mean, in our outfit, being dry sometimes is hard because people don't get it. You know what I mean?
I got in a lot of trouble for being dry.
Yeah.
That's
But
another story.
is it worth it? You know, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I often think when I'm in that situation and I have the perfect line to really get on somebody in the group, and I'm like, oh, should I say it? Should I not? This is gonna cost me. Ah, hell, fuck, say it.
What did the
And
inspector
then you
say?
get,
What did the inspector say about you when you showed up with the outfit that you had on? He said something about you like, "What the hell's that? What is he? He looks like he's gonna go skateboarding or something like that." And you had your shirt, just a white shirt, and your cop pants, some runners, and a hat or something. You look like shit, and he freaked.
no, look, I actually got this from a staff sergeant. He used to come in to
You
work
you got 40 seconds.
in his civilians, and he'd have his fresh shirt on
No,
for work.
yeah, I don't blame you for doing that, but it was funny that the inspector ripped you alive. Okay, dude,
Yeah, that's his job.
I love you. Let's
Yeah,
do
love you.
let's do this again, and we'll talk about a topic.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to use any of this. It didn't work out for me. See ya.
See you, bud.
You know what? I did not expect that. He was actually a voice of reason, and I liked how he disagreed with me. I don't want it happening too often. But I know the conversation was all over the place because it was the first time we were doing it. I'm surprised that conversation actually made me feel good. I should have him on more often. I was going to take a bunch of calls today. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to digest that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
What's that?